Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishna Priya. This is the Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It's Saturday, the 15th of June, 2024. And I'm waiting. Here it comes. Video unavailable. What does that mean? 1 second. I just have to make sure that we're actually live in the right spot. Because if we're not, then I have to start over. 1 second. See, it didn't even open. You jinxed me now. It didn't open. Let's see. 1 moment, everyone. Talk amongst yourselves.
Just,
Get to know each other.
yes.
Yeah. Hucolo office. Nope,
Well,
Hucolo TV.
yeah.
Let's see.
Anyone
Okay,
have
what
any
is that
romper
live?
room trauma?
That's a real, you brought up a trauma I didn't know I had, Jim, at that time.
Yes.
We are live.
We are live. Great. Okay, perfect. We're live on the right channel even. So Alan somehow ninja'd it, and it not only did it not open, but it wasn't even clear what happened. That's actually good. Alan, you have to ask me that every week now, so maybe that'll happen. Okay, so hi, welcome everyone. Hi, Jim. Jim's our channel for today.
Greetings.
Greetings. How's everything going over there?
Very well.
Yeah. Are you in a
Very well.
place that's warm or too hot, or you all
Well,
are?
I have the air conditioning on, the fan on, and if I need to, I'll get another fan. So,
Oh, that's good. Because in, the western part of the US, they're boiling over there.
but it's only going to be 69 here today, so we should be okay.
Oh, that's great weather. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good weather. Yeah, it's a little warmer here, but nothing like what's going on for Texas and California and all those states. So I hope everyone's okay if you're there. I will say who we have in our room, and then you can say who you have in your room. We've got Angie, Alan, Barbara, Christine, Dawn, Yana, Luke, Pia, Radha, Safira, Susan, and Wendy, and myself.
And we have Will and Margie and Blair and Donna and James.
Perfect. Okay, we'll start with some announcements, and then we'll go to blessings.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. We had just finished 2 of our classes, the channeling class and the consciousness class. If you were not able to get to either of those classes, then you can send me an email and we can see if we can't get that recording out for you. The gathering is scheduled, excuse me, the gathering is scheduled for August 8th through August 12th, 2024. It is at Oneida Park. Oneida Park in Canandaigua, a beautiful lake, and it's going to be a beautiful gathering of energies and people and just coming together. If you are interested in any, either the recordings or if you're interested in information on the gathering, please email classes@hucolo.org.
Great, perfect. Okay, we'll start with some blessings. We've got a lot of blessings, but let's see. We'll go Barbara, Wendy, Yana, Dawn, Alan. And did I miss somebody? Oh, and Wendy. Did I do it right? No, Barbara, what did I say? Barbara, Wendy, Yana, Dawn, and Alan. Did I miss somebody? Please say if I did.
Susan.
Susan, okay. Susan, can I have you go at the end? Because that's 5.
Sure, that's fine.
So at the end, it'll be Susan, Pia, and Will. That'd be great. Yeah, then we have 8. So, all right. Go ahead, Barbara.
Tuchacha akashana okrosho. Kashana asha taki iacho. Kapakasha. Tihasha okoshasha. Takisi atna kasho okusha ata. Katoko na akiyashi. Kashi asho dokosho. Bakashi nini kata. Kotoko shopaka hate katoko. Tihatna kata tapata kekisi. Koshanamata iata korata hapata hata kiata. Namaste.
Energies of all varieties are heading toward the earth through prayer and through healing and through many different ways that the people out here and the spirits out here want to help this planet. It is good that we are helping you. It is good that you are listening and feeling our energy. Let the energy rise within you. Let it become greater than yourself, so that you may be able to reach the outer limits of your beingness and actually acquaint yourself with the beings out here and with the love of the neighborhood of God.
Nire yakatuhonyara shiro tukuyana mahe tatiksiono yata haya mahe tichikuyana he thatoyana ituhnire tukuona aishahiro toko yema autotoyana ti ishijuama Huno kenya tutuyana mai chia kurunya aka.
The wisdom of the past and the secrets of the past are now coming back around to engage you once again. There will be higher consciousness, higher understanding, beautiful energies that have not been seen before in the same likes in this world. But you will also know the power behind it and the strength of the power of God through all these things which are coming. For they cannot be denied that God is the most powerful being in the universe, the creator of all these things, and the creator of justice for the world. It is a time when all these things must be observed, when all these things must be looked into, when all these things are part of what is now. But yet, there are things here that are disturbing and not yet taken care of. Allow God to do his work in his time.
Hello, everyone. Postko orneata hastkeneata tu ortene hatea ko ort ahantea takast orte patania takate. Hest enteo ko ort hanteo ko ostkanake ort hai iea hanka atort o moite katasta katortene eha. Harko orkne o hoko hantea ka asta tort o maiteest. Het hatikene o hatika astuko tonortene kamati este.
We implore you toward unity, toward oneness and the understanding of what that means. Many of you think that you know what oneness is. Many of you think you know what unity is, but you have really not experienced it until it actually happens to you, and that you actually feel one with a very large group of people, with a very large reunion of souls. It is time for you to experience that in this world. It is time for that love to stretch out and become an energy between you that can be felt and measured by the beats of your heart, the energy that is being expanded within you. It is a time of great conscious awareness, and it is a time for God to penetrate this realm.
Ushana ko Raman, Shana Okoro, Nara had a Kuma Sation, Nara Urma Hala Goni, Kiama Aru Kusha Arau, Kalani Akuma Saka Aru, Kaara Ara Atonomo, Kasha Arabokane, Ruala at a Shike, Shashane Shore.
Take heed, share your light one to another, reach out in service, reach out in love, reach out in comfort and peace. This is a time when this is all needed, for the hazards of the world are great, and those that are in this world are feeling its distress. So be a comfort, be a peacemaker, be a lover of mankind, be a helper of mankind, clothe the naked and feed the poor. Do the things that are necessary to bring the world into a greater place of understanding and love.
Okay. From some distant acquaintances.
Those that are imprisoned in your world, we pray for them to be released. We see not how that this will happen without the entire planet being aware of it, and the entire planet praying that the release will come. Many call this a prison planet, a fallen planet, but we see that it can be reversed and that it can be pulled out and made whole again. So please use your greatest love and interest and wisdom to bring forth that which seems impossible now, but we know that is possible and is part of the prophecy of the universe that mankind should survive. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. It was a marathon. That was great. A lot of blessings.
Some of those messages were very different this time.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, let's get back to the list, our long list of requests.
Okay.
And let me just make sure. And also for YouTube, if you all have any requests, you can type them in now, and I'll try to get to them after I read all of these. So please type now because of the delay. That would be great. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have Ra, the dragon heart, and the Arcturians, Lakesh, someone from the Stargates, preferably a Himalayan Stargate, Erahart, the shape-shifting dragon humanoid, El Morya, Elijah, someone from the Chameleon Collective, Raz of the Orion Council, and I believe that's everyone from this room. Someone is requesting from YouTube, Ka-Ra, an emissary, of the Pleiadian, a Pleiadian Tagetan, Tagetan, Palladian or Tagetan. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, Ka-Ra is a member of the Galactic Federation and is the exopolitical expert and emissary of the Federation. And someone says, I would like to know the latest updates and what are the Federation plans for their message for us? Anything important? Archangel Chamuel, and that's it. So a lot.
One more.
One more.
Oh, one more.
There's a woman in a room, black hair, blue dress, blue energy. She wants to speak.
What's her name?
I don't know yet.
A blue woman
Okay.
in the room
Black
here.
hair. Okay. Blue
with
energy.
black hair. Blue woman, black hair.
Okay. Okay. All right. So those are the requests.
All right.
All right. And if you need,
Lots of requests.
yes.
Memory full. Yes. Okay. Very good. Let's see who comes.
Let's see who comes, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yes. Have a wonderful session, everyone, and I will see you in a little while.
Thank you.
Greetings. I am Elijah.
Welcome, Elijah.
Today, I would like to speak about holiness. I have not really spoken about this before. But to be holy, you must understand purity. You must understand love. You must give of yourself to God, and God give to you. You must become one with him. You must join him in his efforts. You must understand him and obey him. It is difficult for the people of this age to understand what it was like in my age. But holiness was rare, and holiness was sought after. And many found it in the prophets. Even though I don't claim at that time to have been very holy at some points, I did obey God, and I did listen to him, and I did do the things that he proclaimed for me to do. And this is where I moved forward in obedience. Listen to God. Understand him for what he is trying to do on this planet, for his messages to each and every one of you. Understand that he wants your purity. He wants your goodness and kindness to be shown everywhere. This is not your own goodness and kindness, but the kindness and goodness that he brings through you from himself. Now, many of you do not know that. Many of you do not know what it feels like to have God move through you, to have him enlighten you, let him be the person that he wants you to be through his spirit. It is a time for you to delve deep into yourself and know thyself as best as you can, because you are the answer to the future. And if you are not precise and conscious of what God wants for you, then it could all fall apart. Now, that is not a threat, but it is something that you must keep in mind. It must keep in mind that God has a purpose, and God has a plan, and God has his missions for each and every one, and they may all be very different and very multi-task oriented. But he will get done what he needs done through you or someone else. If it is through you, then it must be done right. It must be done with love. It must be done with patience and security and all the things that come with his will. I am telling you this now because things will change soon. We have all talked about this change many times. But the change is upon us now. And as the change is upon us, we must take on a new mind, a new thought process, a new way of doing things. You just cannot go on doing life the way you were doing it before, especially if it's materialistic, especially if it's not guided, especially if you're just going and doing whatever you think you need to do. God is going to open up opportunities for you. He is going to be there for you to show you how to do it. If you are in prayer, if you are in his obedience. It's not going to happen if you're not praying. It's not going to happen if you're not obeying. It's not going to happen if you don't have love for one another. It's not going to be happening if you're arguing and angry and sorrowful and demeaning yourself. That's not going to happen. You must understand he wants you to perform in a very positive and beautiful way. That you are someone. You are better than this. That you are better than who you even think you are. You are a great person in the eyes of God, and he is depending on you. And many of you say, I have nothing to give. I have nothing to share. I have not enough love. And so I am not going to be helpful. But it isn't true. You may tell yourself that, and the darkness may tell you that, but God will not ever tell you that you are worthless. God will never tell you that you have no purpose. God will never tell you that you are not in his plans. He will always include you. Always give your life meaning. Always put love in you and help love come through you. This is a day when this is important because love is strength. Love is power. Love is wisdom. Love can change things. And you say, I've never seen love really change much. That's because you haven't seen the power of God, the power of God's love on this nation, on this world, in this universe. But it will be evident soon. And you are all part of it. You will all see what God's power is all about. Oh, it's not the destructive power that you are going to see, but it's the healing power from after the destruction. It's the people that will pick those up that were in sadness and dysfunction and bring them back to the path. This is the power of love, the power of God. And cities will be razed and destroyed, but God will lift them back up again. People will be killed, but God will lift some of them back up again. How, you say? Because he is God and he has a purpose in this world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mine. My name is Raz.
Hello,
Someone
Raz.
has called.
Yes, yes. Luke has requested you. Luke?
Hi, Raz. Could you
Great.
give all of us a situation update from the Orion Council, how we're doing and what's coming up soon?
The Orion Council, yes, I can do that. We are looking at updating the Stargates right now as we are moving forward. There are 3 of them are finished, but we have all 12 to finish up. The next ones that will be done are Shasta and Pumapunka, and the 3 that are done are the Stonehenge, Chichen Itza, and Giza. So the other 2 that are coming along very nicely are Shasta and Pumapunka. It is that with great understanding toward your peoples, we are doing this. We have been taken over by the Pleiadians in some senses, but because they are in charge of the ascension period, but they have given us permission to do all the stargates and all the things of technology that we need to do on your planet. And we give them thanks for allowing us to do that, because they would not necessarily need to permit that, but we are happy that they have. So also with the Orion Council, we see that there is a first contact possibly going to happen in your world at the end of 2025. Those people that are going to be the first contact are the Zhuog, and they are here in Orion right now. They are doing trade agreements with the different species here for different reasons. And then the next stop for them will be in the Pleiades, where they will be there for quite a while, and then they will head to Earth at the end of 2025. Right now, the Orion Council is also voting on some very important things in the Universal Council. We have representatives there that are voting on whether creator beings can actually have more power than they do now. They have been granted any power other than the power of their humanity and some psychic gifts, etc., that are common on your planet. But they are voting on a legislature in the Universal Council about giving these creator beings that have volunteered to come to Earth a little more power. And we will see if that goes through. That was voted on once and turned down, but it is up for another vote again soon. And so we are hoping that perhaps this goes through so that you can work a little greater magic on your planet, on getting people aware of the powers of God and the powers of the aliens and the powers that be. It will be an eye opener for many. So we will hope that you can understand why we would wish that. Now, they won't be great powers, I do not think, but they will be powers that will be advantageous to these creator beings, because it will help them to do their missions more properly and will help them to move forward in whatever that is that they are lunging out to do. And so we pray that that can happen. Now, we do not know what these powers are. They will have to take a vote on that as well. There have been many things that have been suggested. Most of it has been more in the way of giving them more leeway to do what they need to do, more push and pull, not monetarily necessarily. They're trying to get monetary assets to some of the creator beings, but this has not been greatly successful yet. So it is that there are many other things in the works out here. Is there any specific questions?
If you'll allow me to ask another,
Yes, please go ahead.
you had told me recently that I was up to vote, or I was up to being voted on for being a part of the Universal Council, I think it was. Were there any updates there specifically for that?
Yes. There are only a few humans on the Universal Council as a whole, because there's thousands of people on the Universal Council. However, there's 2 humans on the Council of 100 in the universe, which is a separate council from the Universal Council. And you have been nominated to become part of the Universal Council, as well as 3 other people from your planet. One other one is here, and it is that they will be voted on as well very soon. We do not have the dates for that, but we know that that is part of the news that we are hearing.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, Susan has a question. Go ahead, Susan.
Hello, Raz. Thank you for coming. I am aware that I currently sit on the Orion Council as like a treaty writer or writing trade agreements. And I was aware of I'm working with the JUOG as part of that. But is there any other updates you can provide as far as the work I'm doing on the council, or in even other councils that you're aware of, that the type of work I'm doing at this time besides what I'm currently aware of?
You are working on trade legislations, and you are working on different kinds of humanitarian, or if you would like to call it humanitarian, interplanetary guidance to some beings, because there has been some injustice in several areas of Orion, because the planets have been claimed and they are not really it's not been proven who actually has claimed them and things of this nature. And so there has been warring over these things for hundreds of years, but now it's more of a treaty that has gone into effect that is no longer battling anything, but it is still a great amount of problems there. They have still not come to terms with who is right and who is not right. So they're dividing up the planets and planetoids that have been claimed for ores and different minerals and things of that nature to be taken out of them. but it is not clear who is going to get what part of the planets or whatever. So it's still a great deal from being over, but you're doing a lot of work in that area.
Yeah, I was aware of that there's a planet on the edge of our solar system, I think, Tarendisus, that I was told about that I've been working with as part of the Orion Wars on trade agreements involving minerals on that planet specifically. So, but I wasn't aware it's still going on as far as
Many things still
debate
go.
over ownership or who owns what or has access to what on different planets.
Well, there are 3 different species claiming different worlds for themselves that were unoccupied, meaning there was no specific species on there. There was small life plants and maybe trees or whatever, but no life forms that were intelligent. So they claim these, say they claimed these at different times, but they did not make official acts of claiming them. They did not do the proper, what you would call paperwork for it or computer work for it. And so they just were dwelling there. And so now we have to make allowances for these things until we know who got there first.
All right, thank you very much for that update. I'll let you move on to another question. Thank you
Okay,
for
thank
coming.
you. Thank you. Yana has a question. Go ahead, Yana.
Hi, Ross. Thank you for coming. Blessings.
Yes.
You just told that the Orions are already contacting the Zhuak, and as this is a new species for me and for most of us in this collective gathering now, can you tell from your perspective something about the Zhuak, who they are and what kind of species they are and what their intentions are?
They seem to be well-intentioned. They seem to be wanting great trade agreements. They want to move forward in a positive way. They are not argumentative. They usually are very agreeable in most things. So we see them as very likable, amicable, and they have not given us any cause to believe that they are otherwise. However, they have a great deal of arsenal with them, and that is frightening to some of the people in these areas because they do not like to see so much artillery on ships. But they have not used them or not even threatened to use them. And so we are just moving forward in doing the claims and treaties that are necessary with them.
Okay, so have you personally have had contact with them?
I personally have not, but
Okay.
I know people that have, and they have not been led to believe that they are harmful.
Okay, can you give us a description of their physical looks?
Well, from what I understand, they look human, but their face is what is different. They have very round eyes, very, very round, and very round mouth. It's not like your mouth is sideways, it's more circular. They look sort of robotic, but they are not. They are made of flesh and blood, according to them. But they do look like robots. Their eyes are round and their mouth is round. They do have a nose area, but they sort of look robotic.
Okay, thank you. For now, this is what I was curious about. Thank you for honoring that, and blessings.
They say also that they will, when they come to Earth, they will look as human as humans do because they do not want to frighten anyone or steer anyone in a different way. And not that they want to deceive, they will tell the leaders of your nations what they look like and show them what they look like, but they do not want to scare the populations.
Okay, so they have ability to shapeshift or partially shapeshift their form.
They have ways by technology to do so.
Thank you so much. I will give the sticker to somebody else. Thank you. Blessing.
Yes, you're
Thank
welcome.
you. Alan has a question.
Greeting, Raz. Greetings. It's nice to interface with you. I would like to ask, from your perspective, how would you define the archetype of Orion consciousness, and how humans, from your perspective, how humans can tap into and channel that consciousness for the empowerment of themselves and their collective, and to bridging the gap in frequency?
Well, there are many different species in the Orion area, so it would depend on which species you tap into, what you will get.
Well,
But
your
I would
species,
say
let's take. Yeah, your species, for
our
example.
species, the people on the council.
Yeah, the dominant, the council, sort of that sum aggregate sort of
Well,
mean average. Yeah.
we are sort of the higher social norm. We do not take part in the wars. We do not take part in the violence or any of those things that some other of the Orion planets do take part in. So if you were to contact us, you would be getting a higher form of understanding. Not that we are bragging, but we have a greater deal of knowledge and understanding. And that is why we formed into this group, so that we can help those that are not so well informed and not so well organized. We are also working to develop plans for peace throughout Orion and the universe, as many other places that would call on us. We are called on by other species and other groups, just as many other groups are called on as well. But we are actually called on Earth quite a bit. And the Earth we are very, very familiar with, in the sense that many channel our group. And many channel those thought processes that come from our group. And I would hope that they are getting through positively and in a very positive way, because it is our nature to want to help your suffering race.
And so, if there was a way, like, for humans to be able to connect with what you represent as a frequency, are there any conceptual permission slips you could share with us that would be like, oh, this is their energy, this is how, so we can sort of bridge that gap?
Well, if you've never felt it, I don't know how to explain it. But you will know us by we feel more ecstatic. We feel more higher energy, more like, if we come to you, you will feel a little bit like laughing at first. You will feel the chill of excitement a bit, but then you will get used to us. But we are very high natured, and we value joy.
Okay, thank you so much.
So sorry. Let's see. Wendy is next. Go ahead, Wendy.
Hello, greetings.
Yes.
So I believe I've been in these council meetings, and I know I'm part of the Orion Council as well. I'm not sure exactly what I do with them, but I do know I work with Stargates. And as of late, probably the last couple of weeks, I've been having a lot of dreams where I'm seeing others in what you would call like lab coats. So jumpsuits, and also my latest one, I would describe it as like, from our perspective, a movie with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, when they're in the lab and they have these white jumpsuits on with head coverings and stripes. And I'm wondering if you can give us some insights as to what exactly these activities are that I'm participating in, and how that's helping with the Stargates.
That sounds more medical than it does technological. It sounds like you are working in some place with technology to do healing and maybe creating the kinds of technology that are needed to put into the stargates to make them work. So it sounds like you are there for a reason to develop Stargate technology instead of actually working directly on the stargates themselves. So this is something that you might want to consider. Yes, there is much work going on in this realm, because it is true that you must have this technology for the stargates to work, and it has not all been developed yet.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're upgrading the technologies of the stargates because the technologies of the stargates are ancient, thousands of years old, and technologies have come a long way since then. And so as you are working to upgrade the technology of the Stargate technology, you will find that it is becoming a great asset to the world.
Beautiful. And then I also had the experience where while I was awake, I saw what I would say a clear rod it was long, probably, longer than an arm's length. And it was passed in front of me over my head and over my heart. And then I didn't see it in my third eye anymore. But this rod was perfectly clear, and it was laced with, or well, not laced, but cut like a Vogel crystal. So there were many faucets completely around it, about 2.5 to 3 inches in diameter. And I imagined that it was some type of healing technology, but I'm wondering, I think it's Arcturian healing, but wondering if you can give me any more insight, and if we can use that quantumly.
Yes, that rod can be used for many different reasons. It can be used to do what you would call an MRI. It could be used to do a CT scan. It could be used to do many different functions of the body, because it is all those inputs on it are there to do different things for different people. It just needs to be set by the technology that the worker is doing on the screens. So as it passes over, it will do a scan, it will correct things, it will actually see things, and if it's not there to correct it at that moment, it will pass back across you and correct what it sees.
Okay. Is that technology that's going to be coming to the third dimension at all, or?
Not for quite a while. But it
Okay,
is
wonderful.
used for everything pretty much. You sit in the chair, actually, you can lay on a table or sit in a chair, and this rod will pass over you like an MRI machine. You have to be put inside of it. This one can just go over your body in different ways and see all the things that are there.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the last thing is that there was this like this little black box that I saw that apparently has messages, and it seemed to have cables going to the left and the right of it. And there was a red, kind of a blinking like I'm on light. And I know that this was associated with a ship, and I'm wondering, what is this box and how is it used by the ships? What are we using this box for?
It's an energy area. It's where the lights, all these different things on the ship can be controlled by very small areas in the ship. This one box, you will find that there will be several of these boxes around the ship, and they control all kinds of technology and electronic usages. It's like a battery. They will keep energies if energy should be failing. These will take over and bring forth the energy that is necessary for the ship to continue. Even with energy toward the thrusters and things of that nature, or the energy toward the crystals that keep things moving. So it will also, they are used for several things.
Okay, thank you, because I described it to somebody that said, I feel like it's like a battery. So that really touches
It was
my
a
heart.
battery. Yes.
Yes.
It is
Thank you so
very much like one of, yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate your coming here today and assisting everyone with their questions. Blessings.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Let me take a question from the chat. Swazi says, how do the galactics see us evolving? Will there be a time span, will there be a time when we evolve to have no wars?
If you survive this next few years, yes, you will become a very highly sophisticated race, but you have to make it through these next few years before we can see if that will happen. It is all very determinant on these next, I would say, 5 years.
But you all still have wars, correct?
We still have wars. They are different than your wars. Our wars are no longer the same. We do not use actual people in our wars. They are just machines against machines, basically.
Okay. All right. And well, okay, I'm just looking to see if there's another question here that's relevant for you. Okay, I think that's all I have on this side. Is there a question in your room?
No.
No.
I do not believe so.
And one other question. Are there galactics involved in sun changes in any way? I feel this is from Swazi. She says, I feel it's coming closer and its energies are way brighter than before.
This is a phase of the sun that is called the grand solar maximum, where the sun is achieving a part of its course. I do not know what the word is. The sun has its own seasons, just like the planet Earth and other planets, but its seasons are much slower in some ways. That is all the way I describe it. And right now you're going through a grand solar maximum, which brings coronal discharges in a greater mass. And so this will peak in July. You will still have to go through a great deal of coronal mass ejections for a while, but it will be that they will calm down after probably January of next year or maybe February.
Okay, thank you very much. Those are the questions that are relevant for you.
Very well.
I have no other questions. Thank you so much for being here, and it was lovely to have your energy and your wisdom here.
Thank you. I will bring someone else then.
All right, thank you.
I am Chamuel.
Welcome, Archangel Chamuel.
Someone has called.
Yes, someone from the YouTube chat has requested you, so I'll just give them a moment to respond. But if there's anyone in this room that has a question for Chamuel, or if Chamuel, you can tell us a little bit about yourself and what is your realm that you're working with?
I am working with the human realm, of course. It is something that I work with always. The angels are most occupied with humans at this time, trying to persuade them mentally and physically to do the right things and move in the right directions. We are not often seen. We are mostly just advisors and guides. And in this time, it is difficult for us to actually have too much contact with your world, because how much pollution is in the air and how many waves and how many distortions are there. We do our best to get through. But yes, that is what we are doing. I try to communicate, heal, and help. But you must call on us. We do not just appear unless God tells us to.
Right. Thank you so much. Saphira has a question.
Hello, Archangel Chamuel.
Greetings.
There are several and have been several spiritual healers, teachers on the earth, as you know, great ones. And I mean, their life was the same as their words. They've talked so much about purity. The word purity comes into their teachings time and time again.
Correct.
So my question is, I know that I understand what purity is, but what is pure? But what is really purity? How does it? What is sexual purity? What is emotional purity? What kind of purity are they talking about? What does God see as purity from your angelic point of view?
It depends on what you are going to be doing for God. What purity is, you can be married and have sexual intercourse and things of this nature, and it's still purity because it is ordained. There is other kinds of sexual impurities that are not ordained. But the thing is, you yourself already know what is right and what is wrong. Many of you do. There have been many different guides on your planet to tell you what is right and what is wrong, and the churches have told you what is right and what is wrong. However, do not follow every instruction of the church. Much of it is manipulation. But you know sin from non-sin by the way it is produced and brought forth. Dancing is not a sin. Drinking is not a sin unless it's done to the extremes. But purity is with your heart. Purity is the love in your heart that is pure and giving, loving, that nothing can stray from that purity of the heart. And you know that your heart is pure, that your heart is doing what it needs to do. You are obeying God. You are doing what is right. And so as you are doing right and obeying God, you are pure.
Okay. Oh, it's not enough for me. It's a little bit so that would sound like purity is subjective, just like so many other things are subjective on this earth. But
What would you say is purity?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking
Well,
what God thinks.
how can it sound subjective to you if you don't know what it is?
Um, I
Listen
mean, the answer is
carefully.
very no. I mean Sorry, go ahead.
Purity is that which you know is real. If you know that you are not pure, you know it. If you know that you are pure, you know it. It is that you know within your beingness your purity. And you give thanks to God and you're humbled by this purity. It is humbling and brings you into an identity with God that you may not have had before. And so if you think it sounds subjective, it is subjective to God. You must give to God what is God's, and mankind what is mankind's. But that doesn't mean you have to serve mankind in a way that you serve God. You must serve God in a different way.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your taking time to answer that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to check the YouTube chat very quickly. Oh, this is a question for you. Michael wants to know, is there an Antichrist? Is there a purpose for that? Thank you.
The purpose for the Antichrist is to deceive the world so that Christ can renew it.
Okay, thank you. And I guess the question is always, when is he coming? Is it here already, etc.?
These things mankind cannot know.
Okay, thank you. This is from Dr. TM. He says, according to Saint Germain, Adamus, leader of our golden age, has said that the enlightened embodied humans are the grandest of all creation in form. From
Correct.
Yeah. And he wants you to, if you can explain that, please.
Humans were created to serve God, but they were also created to be friends of God eventually. That is why all the different lives, all the different learnings, all the different challenges. You are learning everything that God knows through different lives that you go through. You cannot learn all about God in one life. You must go through many different lives so that you can perceive what God has really brought forth, all the different facets of him and all the different learnings that are out there about him, so that whenever you reach that highness that is in his realm, you will be able to speak to him and know what you are talking about and be able to converse with God as a friend.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And I believe that's all the questions I have.
Very well.
Thank you. And was there any other questions in your room?
Any other questions?
I guess not. All right. Thank you so much for being here with us. We'll ask you
Yes.
allow the next being to come, should there be
Yes.
one.
I am Furestra from Pandor, the blue lady.
I was going to say, we have not met you before. Welcome. Welcome.
Yes, I came to speak on the behalf of the Orions as well, having met and having dealt with the Zhuo. We are working with them right now on a treaty. We have a matriarchal society, as you would call it. All females rule our planet. All females are in charge. No males will ever touch our leadership positions. It is only females, because we have greater understanding and greater ideas about how to rule and run things. We wanted to tell you that the Zhuog are very friendly and have been very helpful with us. They have not been argumentative or greedy, and our contracts have gone through rather quickly. And we are very appreciative of how they are able to work. So we are telling you, we are giving them a favorable result in our experience.
All right, thank you. Does anyone, I believe that Will sensed you. Will, do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions?
I don't know if I have any questions. It's just interesting that when you were coming through, you have more to speak about besides the Zhuag and the Orion Council. You actually have a real message that you want to deliver.
I'm hesitant.
So may I urge you to speak of that? Because I'm only going to notice you and greet you with exactly the energy you wanted to be greeted with.
Yes.
Unless your message needs to come out. The only person ever to come through that required that energy.
Yes. For we are from a different kind of energy than you are from. And this energy is specific to our species. Because we are feline or female, and all our leadership are female, this is a different energy that will come through to this world. It comes through as a a phase kind of energy. And we will work with that phase kind of energy to come to this planet. But the true message is this. We see that females are rising in this world. We see that there are equalities happening in the female race of this planet. We did not want to stir anything up by saying that we think that females are greater than males on this planet. However, that is how we feel. It is only a feeling. It is not the true nature of the situation necessarily. We see that many of the men on your planet are very capable. But we see that as the women energy, the female energy rises in your world, it will overcome the power of men in many areas and is already doing so in the areas of industry and politics. We see that women will rise up and become a greater part of this world and bring greater peace to this world. That is when they are reasonable. We see some unreasonable women on your planet as well. It is not that they are all reasonable. No, not so. But we do see many that are, and we hope that they come into power and they come into a way that will help mankind move forward in their elimination of warlike vengeance and warlike understandings. War is not necessary, as we have discovered on our world. And this is the message that I originally wanted to make, but I was afraid to do so immediately without prompting, because it is not something that is well taken by men.
Keep going. There's more.
Shall I continue?
Oh, sorry, my thing was stuck. Thank you very much. I couldn't get
Well,
my thing undone. But Yana has a question.
Good.
Yana.
Thank you for coming, Fiesta. You are from Fendor, you said?
Pandore,
Pendor.
P-A-N-D-O-R-E, yes.
Okay. And that's part of the Orion constellation?
It is somewhere near there, yes. It's not part of what we do not call ourselves part of Orion, for we are not like Orions in any way at all, or energy-wise at all. So we do not identify with them. But yes, we are in the vicinity of that.
Vicinity of Orion. So the channel misspoke that that he called you feline instead of female. Is that you are of sort of feline?
We are female, but we are like feline in the sense that we are independent and that we are many times aware of things that others are not, and that we are socially interactive only when we want to be.
So can you, because going into a more female orientated leadership, can you describe how your organization of your species work in the power way of councils or steering the whole civilization into the right course?
We do not have a word for our hierarchy, but you could say I am an empress or one of great authority. We have empresses and what you might call princesses or queens, but we don't call them that. That is not what they really are. But they have that kind of power. They are those that make the decisions for our world, those that make the politics or the governing rules for our world, and keep things peaceful and just. We are quite adequate with our decisions, and we are not easily moved. We're very stubborn.
Thank you. That's I feel your gentle power. I feel your gentle power. It's gentle
Well,
and strong at the same time.
Yes, we have gentle power as well.
Mm.
We must mask that with a greater power in order to rule properly, because no one will heed us if we're too gentle on the public, on the population. So we must rule with a firm arm and a firm word and a firm understanding. We will not back down. It is not our way. To back down in some situations would be loss of control in the kingdom, or whatever you want to call it, the empire.
Okay. So thank you for that. And there's one question I would like to get answered is what's still playing in my mind about the Zhuang, and I'm very thankful that you speak for them in a positive way. But why do they come with so much ships and so much armor?
They are fearful. That is the only thing that I could gather from them, that they are afraid of humans because humans are very warlike. And so they come prepared for the war of the humans.
Okay. And is that the way, the off-world secret weaponry that we have, that most of humanity is not aware of yet?
I guess so, yes. Okay. I cannot speak for them directly.
No, I know, but since you are in contact with them, I thank you for your perspective on that, your personal perspective on that.
Yes. Let
So
me
this
say,
one, yes, please. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, let me say one more thing. The females of your planet are growing and becoming greater, and they are going to overcome this planet at some point and be equal. Now, that does not mean the destruction of mankind in any way, or the bringing forth of a matriarch society. That will not happen on this planet. God has not seen fit for that to happen here. However, there will be a greater respect for women, a greater respect for their power, a greater respect for their minds. Yes, we will always remain beautiful in the eyes of men and always want to remain that way. But we always want to also see that justice is done and that things come forth the way they should. And with men ruling, war will always be a problem.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for coming forth, and it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you. Blessings.
You're welcome. That is our opinions, of course. You may take them as you wish.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alan has another question. Go ahead, Alan.
Real quick, could you remind me of your name again, who I'm speaking to real quick?
It is all right. You don't have to remember our names. They are insubstantial, insignificant.
True.
And so just call me T.
T. Yeah. Okay, so this is coming from a third dimensional, physically male, energetically open perspective. So there are two parts to this. I'll ask the first, it's a bit of a longer part first. When the divine masculine and the divine feminine consciousness expresses itself through form of any dimension or density, there is an unawareness of the expression. Now, and there's a purity, getting back to purity. Now, when there is a energetic disparity or an imbalance or one overtaking another, that either male or female consciousness. In this case, I'd say female. When that consciousness experiences itself being dominated, what happens is so much of the time is that the humans operate in the realm of the ego and they respond. And while a lot of them claim that they're advocating for feminine energy, female power, really what ends up happening a lot of times is, without knowing, they tap into the darker aspects of masculinity to compensate for what they feel is an imbalance.
Yes, I see that happening.
And
Let me
so,
explain
yeah.
something. You on this planet call Father God. Most of your people talk to the masculine side of God, where we talk to the feminine side of God. Is there any wrong in that? No, there is always going to be a balance at some point. We already know that there is a Father God, but we speak more of the Mother God, because the Mother God is what is firing our wills and our desires and our interests and our way of life here, where your Father God is the hierarchy here, and you speak to him. So is that any different? We both believe in Mother, Father God, and so even though you may say Father God, you are still talking to Mother, Father God. And as we talk to Mother God, we are still talking to Mother, Father God. But I understand what you're saying about in relation to women coming forth. They take on masculine emotions so that they can mask the weakness of their femininity, and that is not a good thing to do. They must be who they are. That is why only powerful women become powerful leaders. Not that weak women will ever become powerful leaders, and not they cannot happen because they will not rule properly. They will not be just. They will have I cannot say the word, but they will have division in their thought process. And that's why you are talking about this kind of evil that comes into the worship or saying of Mother God over Father God, whereas we understand both, and we understand that weak women cannot become powerful leaders, and weak men cannot become powerful leaders either.
Yeah. So look, I would like to please, if you will, clarify that what I'm about. This needs to be, I think, addressed. This needs to be put open, and there are some that might, whose egos might see this as controversial, but the Antichrist or the enemy, what I'm getting the knowing is that they are using what God is using for good, because like women should be equalized with men, but what I see happening is that the Antichrist is using the what women feel have in their fight for equality, unintentionally harnessing the darker aspects of the masculinity in order to get equal. But in so doing, it's almost like this perverted form of justice. And whenever someone tries to call that out in the name of righteous, they're either labeled as sexist men or self-hating women when they're trying to call out this darkness that just ends in further division. What's your perspective on that?
Well, we do not have that problem on our world, and it is hard for us to equate with that at this time. I see that we have come through that in our past, many hundreds of years ago. But yes, I see what you are talking about. We never had an antichrist, as you would call it. And so therefore we cannot relate to that word or that description. So we would say that, yes, women are using some distorted forms of masculinity to make their point, and men are trying to call out that point and are being called down for it because they're called prejudice. But you see, on your world, there are so many kinds of prejudice. everywhere you go on your world, there is a different kind of prejudice. And we see all the kinds of prejudice there are. And we see that that will have to be ironed out by the equalization of man and woman.
Thank you so much. I know
I know that didn't quite answer your question, but I do not understand the Antichrist image, really.
For our purposes, I think your answer was sufficient. My last part, I understand that I've asked two questions. What advice would you give to either insecure men or women for that matter, but mainly insecure men who at their core, because of trauma or whatever, feel insecure and intimidated when they come across a woman who is both strong in their power and doesn't put up with any injustice or negativity, but is also kind, sweet, compassion, caring, and vulnerable, and yet the men don't know how to reconcile that, so it ends up in fear. What would you say to those?
You must learn who you are. You must be thine self. If you are a man with fiery passions and you are afraid of women, then you will not get the desires of your heart. If you speak up and are true to yourself, then you will find that we are very understanding with that. You may speak up and not offend. We will be there for you.
Okay. There was someone who needed to hear that.
Perfect.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. Luke has a question. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, question for you. Like, so just to preface this, I have heard things of like this universe is female and stuff like that. It's like I'm not opposed to it, but I am interested to say, or I guess my question is, like, how do we as men better balance our feminine in the internal, and how do our women better come into their full femininity as opposed to this false femininity that is just usurping the masculine? Because that's what I feel like Alan was trying to get at, as far as like,
Yes.
they're trying to use the feminine to usurp the masculine, where they need to lean into their feminine, the divine feminine, as opposed to just the masculine.
You must know your own mind as well as your own body. We see the female mind as very strong. We see the female mind as being determined and strong and good leaders. And we see the female body as weaker than the male body, of course. But the male body is our of alternate selves. We want to be with the male body. We want to be loved by the male. We want to be touched by the male. We want to be overcome by the male at some points. All leadership abilities are not feminine, and not all leadership abilities are masculine. We have got to be ourselves in order to be the true leaders that we are. We must say we know ourselves so that we know what leadership abilities we have, and that is what causes us to rise to the top. Not that we are less than men or more than men, but we just are able to see our own functionality in the realm that we are in and take the leadership position.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Good. There are many of you out there that deal with masculine and feminine problems. We do not quite have that problem on our world because the men are very happy for us to lead at this point. Oh, a few have tried to usurp authority, but in doing so, they show their ignorance and their lack of tolerance and all these things. If there was a man to rise up in good style and leadership, we would embrace him, assuredly. But the ways that they have tried to conduct themselves with us have shown that they are weaker than we are in the mind.
Okay. I feel that there's men that would say that about women on our planet.
Of course,
Yes.
but they are warlike. They are forceful. They're thinking they're dominant. They want to rule. We just want to govern.
Mm. Understood. Understood. I'm just looking in our YouTube chat to make sure to see if there's a question that's relevant for you. People are discussing this conversation, but not actually.
They need to
asking any
discuss the
questions.
conversation because it is a coming about that men and women on your planet should be equal, and we see that. And there are very good men on your world and very good women. And we see that it's coming to a time when they're reaching equality as God deems appropriate. And we wish women the power to take that equality in their hands and men to move aside so that we can have the equality, or they can have the equality that they deserve.
Thank you. All right. All right. That was, I don't have any more questions on the chats, and I don't know if you have any in your room.
I don't think so. I will
Okay.
bring someone else
Thank you.
just to keep the peace. Many blessings to all of you.
Blessings to you.
I am faltering. Greetings. I am El Morai.
Welcome. Saphira has requested you, I believe. Is that right, Saphira?
Yes, thank you, Krishna Priya. Is it El Moria, El Morai? How do we say your name?
You can say it many ways. It's El Morya, El Morai. It depends on what place you are in, how it is spoken.
Okay, thank you very much. So, are you the same as Saint Germain?
Yes, in some senses, we share some very equal thought processes. Yes.
Okay, but you're not the same being.
No. We are two
Okay,
different beings with like consciousness.
okay. Thank you. And you are of the what color flame do you represent, El Moira?
I do not look at the flames. The
Oh, you
colors,
don't. Okay.
no, they give me colors and they say golden, they say white, whatever. Let me tell you this about myself. I was here
Yes.
to teach truth and wisdom and honor. And I was here to bring about the peace and truth, wisdom and understanding. I was not here to be labeled or any such like. I was here to just free the people in their understanding of how wisdom is gained and how things are brought forth on this planet. It is not that it is that there's too many labels here. There's too many predictions and prejudices and goods and evils that people say, oh, you were good, you're evil, how are you to judge? Sometimes good and evil come from the same place, and you must know that they are not the same, but they can come from a very similar place. But I want to tell you now that I am of the good, I am of the positive, I am of the right and righteous. And so therefore I want to reach out and touch those that can feel me and can understand the good and the healing that comes from this coupling of our natures.
Thank you. Are you associated or a facet of Toth in any way?
No.
Okay, thank
Toth
you.
is a different being. Toth is a greater being than I.
Okay. You see him as great or mixed? Good and evil or mixed?
I see him working both sides of the fence at times, but I do not judge him. I know not what his outcome is to be, what his goal is. What is it that he wants to achieve? That I am not sure of completely. My goal is to bring peace and love and understanding. His goal, I think, is more on the balance scale, and he wants to bring balance. But balance will not always happen. There will always be imbalances, and there will always be times of balance. But you cannot bring forth balance. It is something that you must achieve with your own self. There is a balance within you, but can you balance the universe? I think not. Only God can do that. So he is trying to do a balancing act that cannot be done.
Thank you for for saying that, because listening to the natural laws of the universe, it brings its own balance. It brings its own imbalance for the purpose of bringing more balance. Sort of like chaos
Yeah.
and more balance, chaos and more balance. So nobody has to do anything. It just runs
So he is
on its
aware
own.
of that. He is aware of that to a certain extent, but he wants to control the balances. And that is not possible. I do not
Okay.
think.
Okay. Well, I think there's other questions. I wish I could talk to you more. Well, I might try to privately. But the reason I called for you is that there is somebody who said that she feels from, I don't really know her very well. She said she feels that you and I are connected and you have a message for me. Is that true in any way?
The message for you is this. You must understand who you are and that you are of greater good than you believe of yourself, and that you are a greater understanding, and that you know these things already, but yet you allow yourself to fall. Many of you do. I'm not just talking about you, but my message to you is to gain strength and power, for you have a great deal of it, and you do not see how to use it, but I can help you with that. I want to help you use your power. I want you to help you develop your power, because you are a powerful individual that has released your power to the world, and now you can gain it back.
Oh, thank you. That is so beautiful. Do you and I have any historic connection or not really?
Historic, yes, but not from this realm.
Okay, that's fine. That's why I don't want to belabor that point too much. Well, that was very beautiful, and I will think of you more and ask you to help me more. Thank you so much.
Yes, you need to come out of your doubt, and you need to
Mm-hmm.
come out of your anguish and
Mm-hmm.
become the leader that you are.
Thank you thank you. That's a beautiful message. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Wendy has a question.
Greetings.
Yes.
This morning I was working with some healing energies and I saw what seemed to be a large black, and I think it was a bean, but it was a large black sparkling. It almost looked like sequins, but sometimes it seemed to like catch flashes of white in it. But it reminded me of like a black sequin dress, but it definitely seemed to be a bean. But also, I feel like it maybe was energy because of the healing work that I was currently in the midst of. Can you assist me with understanding this energy better, please?
That was an energy of the universe. And yes, It sounds like what the Time Lords wear, or some of the Dream Lords might wear. And so that you might be interfacing with the energies of these kinds of beings, which also have healing energies in them. All beings do, of course, but they have stronger than average healing energies. So you might have been interacting with one of those because they cloak themselves this way at times. Not all of them do, but they sometimes do. And this is something that's popular because you cannot see them, but yet you know they are there.
Beautiful. And so I know that some of us have been doing some energetic work for particular, focused areas where we are sensing that a rise in equality and love need to be brought forward.
Yeah.
How is that work doing? And do you have any advice for anyone else that may be doing this type of work?
It must be nonstop. It is that the world is in a place of brimming disaster, and that women are being held back in the Middle East and in many other parts of the world, and that there are wars raging in these areas where there should not be wars, but they have been predicted. So keep on it regularly and constantly. Prayer and meditation are needed for peace. And I am coming to help with that prayer and meditation, but it is only these kinds of things that can help the world right now. And to align yourself one with another in love, in God, and in fellowship and friendship.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your additional insights. Blessings to
The
you.
thing is, healing and service are very necessary in this world today. And there will be a lot of service going to happen soon because there will be a lot of disasters. And these disasters will call on people to go and help and be a part of a new age of positivity.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Joan has a question. Joan asks, she says, I know I've been going to etheric retreats with the Ascended Masters. Can you tell me anything I need to know about that at this time? And how can I use this energy in my back that feels heavy?
The Ascended Masters are there for everyone, and you are touching and growing closer to them and the energy that they are giving. They want to be able to send that energy through others in your world so that they become Ascended Masters as well. Ones that are healers and teachers and wise men and leaders. And the energy in your back is holding you down a little bit. It is the energy of pulling back from all this high energy. It's saying a little bit, I'm human and I can't take all this energy right now. What you must do is just allow it and pray that that energy gets absorbed by the positivity and energy of the light beings, of the Ascended Masters.
All right, thank you so much. Radha has a question. Go ahead, Radha.
Thank you. Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings. I was wondering, are there aspects of what I'm able to do with the love of creation energy that I'm not currently aware of that may be appropriate for me at this time?
There are many aspects of the creative energy that you are not aware of because the creative energy can do all things, everything that you can possibly imagine. There is no end to what the creative energies can do. But for in your instance, you need to be aware of what the energies that are to be used within you to do your missions, the ones that are plausible, such as channeling, some psychic work, some abilities to read people, some things of this nature, healing. There are many things within you that are unexplored, but these things you are exploring, and they will come forth first. So explore them until you find them in their purity and wholeness. Then you may explore other avenues, such as bilocation, for the result of helping others that you are not nearby. Let me give you an example. Sometimes there are people that are far away that are hurting and are down and need someone, and they are alone. By locating to them and helping them with their problems can be of great comfort to them. And that's one of the gifts of bilocation. And so at some point you may want to learn about that gift and learn about healing from a distance and healing with greater force than what even you have in the body, using the consciousness and other forms thereof. It is that there are many gifts for you and many gifts for all the people here.
So when I bring in the love of creation energy, I'm trained to be neutral when I bring it through, just act as a divine vessel. Are you suggesting that I direct it towards assisting me with these gifts?
Yes, I am. Because if it's neutral, it does nothing. If you are neutral, what are you doing? You are not really relying on it, or it is not really helping you much. You must intention for these gifts and things to make themselves known to you so that they have use in your world. If you are just remain neutral, how are they able to come about, and how are you able to perceive them in the way they need to be perceived? You must draw on their energy. You must say, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I feel is my mission and what I need to do my mission with. And so take that neutral energy and make it into a powerful energy.
Okay. Thank you so much for this advice. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Can you answer questions for the government meetings or anything like that, or do we need to wait for
I
it?
do know about it.
Because there are a lot of questions
I
regarding
will
the,
bring someone from the government meeting then.
thank you, and maybe from the Galactic Federation as well, if
One
possible.
moment. I am Quentus from the Universal and Galactic areas.
You're from,
Federations, whichever you want to call them.
okay, there are some questions on the, can you give us any updates based on the government meetings that are going on? Because that's a
The
question
first-
for many people.
The first part of the government meetings was all about first contact and the updates on what is going to happen with first contact and the Zhuwag and amenities that will be happening with human societies to make way for this to happen. And it seems that they have made some headway on this, and that there are people in the galactic governments that are now saying that they must make way and start planning for this to happen because they do not see a time in the future that it would be less harmful. So they are going to acquiesce and start working on some things that might help integration with outside aliens. The other thing that's being discussed is medication and big pharma on your world. It is corrupt, and many alien beings want to see a new format for your medications to be distributed, and they want to also bring healings for many different diseases that your governments do not want to accept because it would destroy that part of their government, the big pharma part, which was trillions of dollars in wealth for them. And so if they diminish these trillions of dollars, also with the destruction of big pharma comes the destruction of literally many other things. So they are not willing to do so. So we are trying to make inroads and help them to understand that we can help them without them having to disorganize this big pharma thing, the pharmaceuticals. We are trying to show them that if they slowly introduce some of these healing procedures, that it can be a plus and they can still make money on some of these things. So this is the second part of the discussion is still going on about the medical. The next part of the discussion is going to be on the Area 53, which should be a short discussion because they're still working on atmospheric security and placing certain atmospheres in a realm that can be easily used by all species. So, and that is a continuing problem, but there will be a lot of help coming from out here to help them to make that more secure, these atmospheres. So there's been a lot of help, but still they are not able to be secured at this time. The next part of the government meetings will be about interplanetary travel. It will be a short period of time because after first contact, they have to start discussing this now because they're going to take people from the planet and people will be coming into the planet. So they have to start discussing how that's going to be handled even now. There are many still other items still on the agenda. Is there a particular item you want to know about? No? I do not hear anything.
Sorry, I was just checking back to see who actually requested Galactic Federation earlier, or about the government meetings. Who was that requested that in the room? Someone requested Lakesh, but I think we have you speaking. So, Alan, did you have a question that you were going to ask Lakesh?
Well, I mean, really, the question was sort of answered. I would just like to thank you for taking the time to update us. And something that was crossed my consciousness while I heard you speak was the fact that the more that us humans tend to focus on this subject matter, we want disclosure, we want contact. I realized that that attracts a vibrational state of lack, which in some ways counterintuitively pushes it further away from us manifesting it in our reality. So, how, like, what's your take on sort of perfecting that balance between we want it, but we don't want to express that it's not here yet?
Well, the thing is this. That is what the whole point of these galactic meetings is. The interaction between worlds so that we can balance the thought process and be on the same page when these kinds of events happen. And so as we have been talking for many years to humans and governments, we are learning that they are acquiescing. They are starting to understand more and more what is going on and how to interact. And they're pushing forward instead of pulling back. At first, they did pull back. And now they're starting to push forward again. And so the people on the planet are pulling back because they're not sure what they want. They want first contact, but yet they don't want first contact. They're afraid of first contact, but yet they're excited for it. So it is that they are push and pull. So, but the only way to take care of the problem is to actually have the first contact.
Thank you. That was it for me.
Okay, thank you. Just one quick question about the Stargate in Bulgaria, I believe. What is the reason that that one's not working?
It will be working eventually. There are the pyramids there in Bulgaria, and there is a Stargate there. So it will be working at some point. However, it is in the greatest of disrepair of most other of the Stargates. So that's why you don't hear about it too much. It needs great repair. It was covered. It actually got covered by sand, or not sand, but earth, and it's like just like the pyramids that are in those areas. They're totally underground because it's one of the more ancient of the Stargates.
Okay, thank you for that. Angie had a question. Angie, did you have a question?
Just basically, wanted to touch base with the meetings. What are the, who are the big players that are meeting in here?
There are several big players. You have many galactic species that are big players. And then you have Russia, China, United States, Canada, Australia, Germany, England. These are all very big players, India. And so you have many big players. So there's South America. The South America is more like one place rather than several countries, because their idea of first contact is more united than some other places. But most other places are disconnected.
I know that you spoke that healthcare is the big, well, I say healthcare, but our health is really the way that I wanted to restate that. The health of humanity, the health that we are being suppressed in our health because they don't want the people of the planet that are controlling big farm, they want to keep us in a state of a suppression so that we don't move forward, because I feel if we were not in that state of suppression and that we were in optimal health, that we would not have the where they are trying to keep us down. Does that make sense? I mean, do you understand what
I
I'm
know
saying?
what you're saying, but their action is an equal and opposite reaction, saying without the big pharma, we are destitute, or we will be destroyed, because one thing will domino into another thing and it will all collapse. So they're saying, yes, bring everybody healthy, but yet the collapse of the economy will happen undoubtedly immediately. So therefore, we are bringing forth gradual changes so that this can happen in a gradual way, so that people can be better, more healthy, and they do not have to experience a collapse in their economy, even though it looks like the collapse in the economy will eventually happen anyway.
I understand. Thank you. That's where I was wondering with what they were going with the meetings.
Yes.
Okay, the question was not about Bulgaria, excuse me, the Stargate, it was about Bosnia. What's happening with the Bosnians?
Well, that's we knew where you meant. That is what we were talking about, that area.
Okay, and also, is there a chance for first contact in 2025 or no?
Yes, there is a chance for the Zhuog to make first contact, but we were hoping that it would be someone else other than them. But
I'm a little concerned about the fact that these people, and I'm people, maybe non-human, but people are just jumping the line. What's the rush?
because they feel that they have
I don't know about all that.
the agreement with your planet to do so.
Who?
They feel they do.
Well, I feel like I should be a millionaire, but that doesn't make it so.
Well, they have a contract,
Okay. All right.
or so they say.
Is this going to be requested that this contract is produced and seen? And
Well, it's supposed to be made by your United States.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I don't know. Something in this doesn't feel right to me. All right.
Fear
were-
is always a way to go.
Well, they're the ones that are saying they're afraid, and that's why they brought a bunch of weapons.
Yes, but you cannot fear. Meeting fear is disaster.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who was there a question from? The last Saphira, I think, had a question. This will be the last question.
Thank you, Krishna Priya. Hello. So going back to area 53 and the marriages, which is what that's all about, that we can meet each other. But a lot of the kings, my husband included, have decided they're not going to that because of all the fears of dissection and all these, there'll be like constant intrusion time.
The Galactic Council has stopped all that. They cannot do that. That would interfere with galactic politics completely.
Oh, great. So what about the validation or the recognition of all these marriages? Is their separation agreement really going to come down in 2025 or so? Do you know anything about those things?
That I cannot say. I do not know closely about your separation agreement, except that it has been questioned many times and has been set as a 2025 to be the end of it.
So is that a topic on the agenda or not really?
Not on the not on the galactic agenda, not on the universal agenda, but on the agenda for your planet, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. We have so many questions, but we have no time left, and I do want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom with us.
Yes.
Yes.
Very well. Much love.
Much love to you.
Hello?
Hello, welcome back.
Hi.
Hi. We were very full. We were very full in the YouTube room. We were very full in our room. So it was a lot of questions coming. And a lot of them, most of them did not get answered. So we do apologize, but yeah, we'll try again next time to get more questions.
All right.
Yes.
There was that many questions, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
many questions, yeah. Yeah. Yes, so we will start with some announcements and then we'll conclude with some blessings. So Angie, if you would take it away.
Thank you so much. All right, we have our gathering scheduled for August 8th through August 12th, 2024. And we have day passes as well as all-inclusive. If you're interested or want some information about that, you can visit the website, which is hucolo-gathering.com. And you can take a look at that. You can also, Jim has a new website up and running. It is jim-charles.com. You can take a look at that. If you're interested in either of the two classes that were just we just had them, you can email classes@hucolo.org and I can get some information out on how you can take a look at that. And if you just have any questions about what up and coming classes you would like, email classes@hucolo.org. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with the blessings in this room and then we'll conclude with Will. So we'll go Susan, Pia, and then go to Will.
Right. To sikaya tutu ya hia, sia ya ki tu ya sikaya tutu ya sia ita ya tutu ya tite ya si tukua ita ya ku sia tite ya si tuku ya ta ya hita ya tutua hita ya kia sikitua. Blessings.
Keep your mind and heart close to God. Do not let it wander into the dark places of the earth, for you will get trapped there, and then you will not be able to escape at the times that you will need to. So bring a fresh love of God to your personage every day, every minute, every hour.
Ia na ata kiki na kukuno ka aniketa kina kukustuno no kola ala natke. Illa kana kukutana kente ke ana kumukutu. O kana ata tikena makolonote. Dita data kena kukustuto nante. Ikana kanduko kuna ketate. Namaste.
There are great opportunities for those that love God, for those that are willing and able to serve him. He is waiting and is using those that are willing and able. And this is the time to reformulate your thoughts in God and make sure that you are heading in the right direction, for he is waiting and will help with all his love.
Only for YouTube. Don't schedule it up.
Okay, thank you. Will, whenever you're ready, please.
Can you hear me from this side?
Yep, perfectly.
Aluhutola, kalahia, nalahia lasaka anaya hava. Hila haka, nasa ayator hoa, sihatar harkana. Nokoro hurate tiria rashana awa haka asi. Ko o ora hanibuya, kachi tara harwata arwatsana. Shiakar arahana eto tarwa ashana hoto. Uturu husanamaha. Nar harata atar skanaha suate. Atutu husha asahana eheki. Choto usa atakahanadati.
Wow. All right. Let me start that. Dreams will coalesce into reality with the help of God. It is time for all the powers that are here to come into a useful frame. Time for all the energies to become a useful oneness. It is of his desire that your love and obedience be restored fully. This is a time of great persecution, but also a time of great reward, for you will know from your dreams and your visions what is happening here in this realm. And those dreams and visions will lead you into a greater path, into a greater understanding. And with the signs in the sky as well, you will all know what is come upon you. God is speaking, and you must listen.
Thank you. Yes, that was interesting.
The thing is, it started off to be a swirl of words that didn't make any sense.
Uh-huh.
And then it all came in. Okay. But there was lots of just disconnected words at first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool. That's interesting. I've never seen you go, wow, before doing it.
Well, there was just a whole bunch of words. So,
Yeah.
and then I went, wow, because I was like, which one is the first word?
Just say them.
Usually the first word comes to me, but
Right.
it didn't come to me that time right away. So I was going, wow, which word is it?
I thought you said wow because it was so profound. You were like blown away. But it was
Well,
also profound also.
It was also profound, yes. But it was
Yeah.
also, wow, I couldn't figure out which was the first word to say. So
Thank
that
you.
was-
It came through.
The focus. because
Yeah.
I was getting the same thing while I'm sitting over here.
Oh, you got
This
that.
is like, you need to focus on what the message is that you want to talk about
Yes.
through me.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
it's hilarious that we're in sync.
That's cool.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, everybody, and we will see you all next week, and we look forward to it. And Jim, will see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks is too long.
Okay, I'll see you then.
All right.
If you pay me double, I'll be back in a week.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. It was great today, Jim. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thank
All
you
right.
you
so much. And
Priya.
thank you to
Thank you.
everyone on YouTube and all the questions. We're trying to figure out a way. There were so many questions at YouTube today.
Wow, there was a lot of
Great. We
questions.
had a lot of people watching live, so that was wonderful. So if anyone would like to be guaranteed that their question is answered, they can join our Club Hucolo for just 10, as Met Wally says, measly, $10 measly a month, which is definitely, you can't get a channeling session for that. You can support Hucolo, and you can do that on hucolo.org, and you're guaranteed a space in the room where you can send your question ahead by email to me, and
I
we'll make
just
sure that question gets answered. Yeah.
I can't see well, but I see that I have a monstrous sit right here.
Thank you for that, sharing that with everyone here on the
Yes, well, they can see it.
we
I
can't
Nope.
had,
tell.
I had
Nope,
hard.
nope. Nobody can see it, Jim.
Really?
Thanks for
It's-
focusing on that.
Oh my.
Yes.
It's
Now
huge.
we're all going to take our Zoom and zoom in.
Everyone don't zoom in. All right, thank you for that. We need $10 a month to get Jim some Claricel.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
what's it to them?
everyone, be safe, be happy, be strong.
Send money. I need Claricel. Yeah.
That's not a request you hear every day. Okay.
Yes. Well,
All right.
the thing is, somebody will send money for
And that person that does, you're very kind. So we thank you in
Yes.
advance. All right,
It's
everyone.
like never fails. Okay.
That's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Krishna
wonderful day.
Priya, for great moderation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Okay.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank
Much
you.
You
Bye.
too.